Hello, hello, and welcome to the Mind, Body, and Tech weekly live show. And I invite you to subscribe and check out previous interviews. So today we have Seymur Rasulov as my guest. He's a seasoned entrepreneur with an incredible background in SaaS, conversational AI, and fintech. Seymur has promised to share everything, including his mistakes, hard decisions, how he stays focused, and much more. So let's begin. Seymour, welcome.
Sana, thank you for having me. This is a great platform. I think you are doing something extraordinary, something different, right? Instead
Thanks.
of cutting and shining and editing and polishing, you're like, hey, this is the raw material. Let's put it out there for the people, by the people, for the people. And I think that's a great initiative. So congratulations on your project and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I know you're a busy person. So you are in Houston, right?
That's correct. I am in
Oh.
Houston, based out of, we used to be based out of New York for quite some time. With the weather and then the housing pricing and everything, I've decided to relocate to Houston from Baku, right? And then we will eventually bring the company headquarters to Houston as well at some point.
So you are all Texas guy right now?
That's a very nice saying. I have to say, Texas, specifically Houston, proved to be very friendly environment for entrepreneurs, very welcoming, and I have to say the community is growing. The community is very strong. There are tons of opportunities for entrepreneurs. So, from your audiences, if people are considering the U.S. market, I would say, because of the great weather, because of the um, flourishing and started to grow environment from the tech ecosystem, startup ecosystem and entrepreneurship, Houston would be a good place, definitely to
Mm.
consider. Yeah. But I'm not
Yeah.
all Texas. No, no. I mean, you have to be born here. I'm not. I'm from Azerbaijan originally, from Baku. So for certain things, I will always be a stranger, and certain things will be to me a stranger. But I think the point with relocating is to go with open mind and open arms and to respect everything that is locally done and have you it needs to be a very well crafted, very well balanced integration, right? And I think it matters to communication, like how you go and talk to people, how you open up and you share and you listen. So these are crucial for really building the relationships across, either it could be Houston, Austin, or any other tech city. Relocation is not easy, I have to say. Immigration is not easy, but there's a beauty of that. US has proven to be the melting pot. Like everybody from different places come and everybody is welcome. I think that makes it more enjoyable. So this is because of the cultural, what do you call it? So there's like, what do you call, there's IQ, EQ, and now the CQ,
UQ.
right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
The cultural intelligence should be there, where you should be open to that, and at the same time communicate in two directions.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
The weather is nice.
Let,
The weather is nice. So I get to enjoy the weather. The weather is lovely. It's always, for 9 months, it's very warm and nice. It's very comfortable. For 3 months, it is hell, literally hell, burning. It's very hot. So for 9 months, you can really enjoy, and for 3 months, you can escape to somewhere cooler, I would say.
Mm. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay, let's start with questions. I have a lot of questions for you. I really enjoy asking about hard decisions and how people are like mentally prepare themselves for hard decision, high stakes meetings. So how you do that?
Hard decisions. Now, when you mentioned that, I look back through the history, right? Where at what points I had to make hard decisions. One of the hard decisions that I clearly remember was to let go 20 people from my team. Like firing 20 people, it's not a mass firing. You cannot do that. So, in the beginning of this year, we had very hard time. Like the my mistakes from 2021 and 2022, and I solely take this responsibility. My co-founder and I, we have been knowing each other since 2015. It's quite a good relationship going on between two co-founders, but the mistakes were solely on me, right? And it was the personal, it was the professional. Because of those mistakes, the mistakes started hitting 2023 numbers. And 2023 numbers for the first quarter were not as good as we expected. So at that point, I had to make a very hard decision to let people go. So from 32, we downsized team to 12. So I had to choose 20 people. The question here is that how do you choose people to let go? Is it based on the salary because their salary is high and you need to save money on the budget? Or is it because of their impact on the project? Or because of their relationship with you, the distance with you, how closer they are to you? Or do you basically let go the groups of projects, right? For example, the developers working on iOS, for example, you let them go because you don't want to support iOS anymore. And then how do you make it so the least biased? Because you're going to be biased anyway, right? How do you make it least biased? And how do you communicate? Unfortunately, I didn't do a good job. I have to say, I didn't do a good job. And what I did, I mass emailed those 20 people. I said, and I did it BCC. They didn't see each other, but it was a mistake. You had to sit down with one by one with everyone and communicate clearly. And that was a hard decision for me to do, who and how. And with the how, I made mistakes and learned lessons. So next time, um, last week I had a candid conversation with one of my employees. I said, look, I'm not going to fire you because you're a grown-up man. I'm a grown-up man, right? If I fire you, that will be disrespectful to you. So let's keep the dignity. Here's the thing. I'm not happy with your performance. Would you like to take a week to level up your game? Or if you don't, you need to decide to leave because I don't want to fire you. We are too grown up. We are same age. It looks a bit what you called out of dignity for me to fire someone my age. I would say, let's have a candid conversation. The gentleman said he cannot perform because of milk, so he will decide to leave. I said, okay, that's fair because tomorrow we're going to see each other again, right? You don't want to be an asshole and you don't want to burn the bridges deeply because tomorrow you will face each other at a conference, at an event, and at some point you will need something. He will need something. She will need something. So it's definitely it's crucial to keep relationships going, even in the hard times, right? Those hard times. There's a very nice
Especially in hard times.
in the
Yes.
hard times. You gotta keep it. You need to save your face. That's the thing. And there's a very nice book called "Hard Things About Hard Things." I have the PDF. I'm happy to share with your. I think you have read that. You're nodding,
It's
and
perfect book, yeah.
it's really nice, right? And there are a lot of pieces in it that says it's not a hard thing to build a dream team. It's hard when the team is not performing and you need to choose to let go. And that stuck with me. And then the same thing goes for other things, right? It's not a hard thing to come up with a great idea. It's hard to process it when the dream idea turns into nightmare. So these are crucial points. But we all learn, we all make mistakes, and at some point it is what it is. But at some point you gotta man up and come forward and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And I did that to those individuals that I had to let go. Later I reached out to some of them and I said, look, I know the way I departed with you was not right. I'm sorry about that. And I learned that. Yeah, that's a hard thing to do, to let people
Yeah.
go.
But I think if we don't have these mistakes, how can we learn? Because in theory, we can learn from others' mistakes and read books, and like we can read lots of books. But first of all, we're forgetting because it's not important at this time. So our brain cannot hold all this. And after you learn from your mistake, you're going to remember this. It's like fire letters in your brain. You always
Yeah.
remember that, and you you just promise yourself, I would never do this again. So yeah. Okay, about mental frameworks, like how you proceed with your maybe work or personal decisions. Do you have some sort of a mental framework how you analyze and make decisions?
Great question. If I say that I do have a nice framework, it will be bullshitting. It will be lie. I have to say there are days I am a mess, and then there are days I am very well organized, and then there are days something in between, right? and I am okay with this. However, even though I am okay with this, when you come to a certain level of responsibility as a father, as a team leader, as a manager, as a mother, right? Your mess not only has an effect on you, but on others as well, right? If I
Mhm.
don't have a team agenda, I'll tell you a quick example. I noticed that when I'm having a team meeting on my messy days and I don't have a team agenda, that team meeting is not productive. But when I'm well organized and before the team meeting, I send out the agenda and with the key people's names on it, saying that we're going to talk about the government document processing. This gentleman will talk about that. We're going to talk about the existing customers. This lady will talk about that. So everybody knows what they're doing, right? When you are clearly well prepared and well within a nice framework, then it has a better effect on others as well. When you're messy, it has another effect on others as well. I would say there are two types of battles that I do. There are, I would say, three types of battles that I do. So when something comes to me, I immediately put it into one of those three categories. Do I have to deal with this now? That's the number one. For example, the customer account just got closed. The customer has a conference going on. Do I need to deal with this right now? Yes, it's an urgent, it's an emergency. It's urgent and important. And then I look at something. Do I need to deal with it? Uh, like, can I deal with it later? Right. And then those I keep them unread. I keep them as a like red button, like red notification. So I come back to them when I have more relaxed time. And then the third category is that do I have to deal with this at all? There are certain things that I used to be very detailed oriented. Call it detail oriented. I think it's a very nice word saying for micromanagers. So I was a micromanager focused on detailed oriented, like but there are certain things you need to let go. And right now I have an individual in my team that I trust his judgment enough so that I can let him make certain decisions. So that frees me of certain things. Um, but I think one size will not fit all because there are some people that are not parents. I'm a parent. I have a son, 8-year-old son. So I spend the weekends with him. I need to plan accordingly, right? Some people are not parents. Their schedule is totally different. Some people have 3 kids and they still make things happen, right? I mean, kudos to those people who have so much on their plates and then they can get many things done, especially to mothers. I mean, I keep my son for 2 days on the weekends and I get so tired, exhausted. And I'm like, oh, is this parenthood? I mean, when is it gonna finish? Like, when is it gonna be over? Like, will this at the age of 18? Okay, I have another 10 years to go. But like, can you imagine a mom working from home or doing her startup at the baby steps with 2 kids or 3 kids running all around, and one of them doesn't go to school? I have to say those people are gurus. Those people, kudos to them. Like being a mother and getting things happen, getting things done. It's a very big challenge. Very big challenge.
Absolutely. Um, let's talk about your mistakes that you mentioned and that period of time. How you handled these setbacks, how you handled failures mentally.
Oh, you collapse. You collapse. You sit down and you become very lonely. Become desperate. You stop functioning as a human being. You don't want to get out of bed. You feel miserable. You feel dirty. You feel old. You feel tired. You deal with that. And um, I have a very good friend who I was talking to her, and I was talking about the mistakes. We were having a conversation, and she gave a very good example. She said, there are people who lose their kids and they still find the courage and power to live on and to create, right? There's nothing more valuable in this world than a child. And then you lose a child. That is a tragic thing in your life. That's a tragedy, right? So or people go to war and then they lose their family, they lose their house, they lose their body parts, right? So I think before we complain about these things, we need to be very, very grateful for the things that we have, right? And I always say that we need to be grateful for what we have in our hands. It could be It could be very little things, few things, but we still need to be grateful for that. And then the second thing is that to accept the fact that, you know what, today I am depressed. It's okay. Tomorrow I'll be better. Not every day is shiny. Not every day is
Yeah.
sunny, right? There are rainy days. There are snowing days. There are windy days. There are days you don't go out. There are days you do picnic on the outside, right? So depending on the severity of the problem, you need to digest it, let it go. You say, you know what? Yeah, I got divorced after 6 years of marriage while building a company, and I had a kid that I was feeling guilty towards for many many years, right? And then after the divorce, I had a wonderful relationship for 4 years. Then, just because I'm a father, I had to make hard choices. That should I stick with my kid or should I rebuild my life? So when you do these things, you get down horribly. You just can't function. But you need to understand that you have responsibilities, right? That's why you get out of bed. You have a team, you have a kid, you have projects, you have customers, and you shouldn't let personal things get in your way. You need to deal with them, of course. What comes very handy is people like you who study the brain, who have the know-how of the brain, right? And then they can help you sort of sort out your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts in your brain so that you can deal with them one by one. It's like a to-do task. Clean the bathroom, then clean the living room, and then go closet, and then the backyard. That's how it works, right? And then I'm glad that, I mean, it's those who are lucky, they have friends to talk to, share, and friends who listen. But at some point, you need to start bitching around. You need to start and then stop. You need to know when to stop complaining. Otherwise, in the beginning, people will be empathizing and supportive, but at some point, they will say, you know what? Put yourself together. You're a grown-up man. Everybody breaks up. Everybody goes through financial crisis. You're not the first one. You're not the last one. Put your shit together and get back to work. And once you are able to do that to yourself, that's it. You're gonna fall again and get up again. I do that a lot to myself. At some point, I look at myself and say, you know what? You are almost 40. You're a grown up man. Don't be a whining, bitching piece of crap in the corner. Enough. You did that. Now let's get some work done. Okay. And that helps. That helps.
What changed? I mean, what exactly you did? You started doing something, or you just stopped doing something? I mean, stop complaining and start working, or you added something else? I mean, maybe physical activity or something else. How it was for you?
What works very well for me is cleaning up. I start
Mm,
cleaning up around me. It's cleaning up the bed, cleaning up the
it's
room.
great. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
very nice thing. I also like doing laundry. Like many people will laugh around it. Like I know when you are a housewife, when you are a mom, when you are a single mom, doing the house stuff is not an activity. It's
It's a
a sort of
chore.
it's a chore. It's a routine for them,
Yeah.
right? They may not enjoy it as much as I enjoy doing laundry, for example, or folding, unfolding, and then working on it. It helps me clear my mind. I sometimes do dishes as well. It helps me think. I go on for very long walks, but before I get to work, I need to get up and start. Shower helps definitely. Shower cleans you physically and emotionally, right? And once you start, stretching, once you start moving around the house, we may be too lazy to do exercising, but we will never be lazy to clean up our room. So if you start cleaning up, which is another activity and exercising partially, once you start cleaning up your room, one room is done, bed is done, wardrobe is done, okay, dish is done. Then once you're done, you're like, okay, now I want to work because now you have gained momentum, right? Now there's a very key point. The moment you gain that momentum and sit behind your computer, you shouldn't go to any distracting website, YouTube, Instagram, because you already have gained the momentum, right? You got this now. Come on, let some work done. Like let's get some work done. 30 minutes block. Stay away from LinkedIn, stay away from notifications, get the work done. You are on sheets.google.com, you're doing your financials, 30 minutes. Okay, now you're like, oh, okay, I can enjoy my small snack, get carrots, and then get back. So action brings action, I would say.
Yeah. How do you plan your day?
Planning a day depends. I use calendar a lot. I'm a very big calendar guy. The reason I'm a big calendar guy is because it actually sends me reminders, right? And Google Calendar is doing a great job in terms of I can see all of them in front of me, and I don't have to do. I can just ask Siri to add it to my calendar something because it's in front of my eyes. And someone says, "Hey, do you want to do this or are you free?" I immediately look at my calendar and I say, "Okay, am I free on this time or not?" And when I'm communicating with people, I kindly ask them to send a calendar invitation or a placeholder so that it's in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And then I have a very nice handbook, which has a pen attached to it. I write everything. And I also write many things to Telegram saved messages so that I don't forget. Let's just say I'm walking and I get a great idea, right? I don't have anything to write. I know that if I don't write, it's just gonna fly. It's just gonna evaporate. So you need to definitely write. And writing doesn't require pen and paper. You can actually take notes, and I immediately write the keyword, sometimes even a short description with the Telegram saved notes. WhatsApp introduced now as well. You can actually take notes on WhatsApp, so your private folder, and you shouldn't just write a keyword because you will not be able to figure out that later. Like, remember when we were at school, we used to put a plus sign on our fingers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then we were like, what is this plus sign for? And then we had to put
yeah.
another plus sign to remind that plus sign was for something else. And then I'm like, okay, what is that keyword for this product discount campaign? What did I mean by that? So sometimes take that moment to write that, and that will give you a step ahead in the planning. But I also have these big chunks of the time what I'm supposed to do, right? And with these chunks, leave enough time for other things if those chunks get delayed or get pushed back. So I would say sometimes some days I don't even plan. A total mess. I'm fine with that. I just play by the nature. I go out, I'm like, okay, what can I do? I can do this, I can do that. I'm looking at the emails. If there's anything burning, urgent, I do that. If not, I can check my unreads from the previous time, right? So sometimes I don't do anything, and I appreciate being lazy at times. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I really love about calendar for tasks, you can plan time for a task. So you plan like, okay, I will need 2 hours to
Mm-hmm.
work on that. So I would not plan any meetings, anything else, because it's important for me to finish this today. So this is 2 hours for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get you. Sometimes you wake up and you feel so down.
Yeah.
Like, no, maybe I will do some meetings today. Nothing creative, nothing so much important. Like, because you are entrepreneurs. So we are entrepreneurs. And this is part of our life. Yesterday, I woke up at night at about 10 a.m. Oh, 10 p.m. 2 p.m. Oh my God. At night, 2
Like
a.m.
that,
What's
2
wrong
a.m.
with me?
No, 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 no.
Um,
That's fine. When you are doing AM, PM, it can be confusing. Don't worry about it. So
um,
you woke
it-
up 2 a.m. in
at
the morning.
night, it was night 2 a.m., right? So I had ideas and I was like, I need to do this. Otherwise, I cannot sleep. So at night, I sat at my computer and I worked for an hour and then I get to sleep.
That's nice.
And but today at the day I moved my tasks because I'm like I cannot think straight, I cannot do anything. So this is great part of our job because we can work 24/7 basically whenever we are up to this, and we can be very much high performers, and um, we can do great stuff, especially when it's creative stuff. But we can understand that we cannot do this every day. It's impossible. It's impossible to be high performer every day. It's toxic performance. And I hate that. And I always say that. I'm like, no, 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 you should not do that. Never. Because, yeah, you will be burned out in no time. Um, okay. Have you ever been burned out? I suppose when you have this tough period of time, right?
Here's the thing. I love this saying that the ship doesn't sink because of the water around it. The ship sinks because of the water in it. When the water gets in it, right? We
Yeah.
will have these challenges a lot. and we will break down, we will collapse when we let them inside, when we let them eat our brain and our mind and our focus from within, right? There will be those things will be around us. And I'm glad you mentioned that you cannot be high performer every day. You cannot. It's we are humans. We're fine. We should be okay with this. That I'm not going to be performing extremely, productively every single day. Maybe for some period of time, yes. But I think learning to enjoy the small things in life that also matters. For example, I love clouds. It may sound silly, but the clouds give me the magnificent feeling. So sometimes I go out and I literally look at the clouds. And then the sun hits on my face. I can feel the vitamin D. I can feel that, I'm outside, I'm not doing anything. It's sort of a meditation for me. And then sometimes I start doing smaller tasks. Sometimes what do you call I accept that, sometimes you're not productive. Yes, you're not productive, and that's okay. And I think again we need to be able to say to ourselves that, what, that's fine now, but if it becomes chronic, then that's a laziness, right?
Yeah.
Then we cannot just justify it, saying that, what, I'm not going to get it done. But depends on how much we allow them inside, right? How much we let them to take control of us. So let's just say breakups, let's just say, or team failures, or financials, or not being able to meet your numbers at the end of the quarter, or losing a customer, or losing a prospect, big one. These things, excuse me, the question is how close you take them to your heart and what you're gonna do with them, right? When I watched OpenAI Dev Day, I thought, okay, they're gonna kill our feature number one, feature number two, now feature number three. And instead of getting sad, I thought, okay, what other features we can add so that we can, replace those and not get crashed by OpenAI. So I immediately, right after the demo day for them, I immediately came up with ideas, wrote it to the tech team. I said, okay, let's consider these as well because you need to act quickly, right?
Mm.
But I had a very, very big breakup in my life in 2022 and partially 2023 as well. The effect came to 2023 as well, but it paralyzes you. You become paralyzed. You cannot do many things as you would love to. And people feel it around you. People come and say, hey, is everything okay? And if you don't have anyone to talk to, I took therapy for about 10 weeks, and that helped a bit. I have to say, many of us think that, oh, we are strong enough, we don't need therapy. And I used to think like that. I was very skeptic towards that. But I took therapy for 10 weeks. It helped me. It helped me significantly, and it helped me to understand I don't have to be happy all the time. I am fine. At many times I am fine. You don't have to be cheerful, joyful, pleasing
Of course.
everybody all the time. You don't have to be sad, you don't have to be happy. You can just be fine, and I'm fine. And as long as I always say, if you are out of three things, you are a lucky person. If you are out of hospital, if you are out of jail, and if you are out of prison, or I mean the court. If you are out of court, prison, and hospital, you are a very lucky person because that means you are out of trouble and you have the health.
Absolutely. Um, let's dig deeper into your daily routines. You mentioned in the morning you like to have a shower and start your day with cleaning. How about the ending of the day? How do you unwind and relax and when to sleep? Prepare for sleep.
You know, look at our lives, right? I'm going to be 40 soon. Next year, I'm going to be 40. And what happens in our lives is that we pile things up, layers of layers of layers, right? One layer is friends, is high school, one layer is university, one layer is kid, one layer is marriage, one layer is business, parents. And you have like, you're like a pancake on top of each other. You have layers of responsibilities in your life. Now, uh, because of the time zones of where I am right now and where the team is, I have forgotten the concept of evening and checking out because at midnight I need to join the calls when it is morning back home country and to talk with the customers, and I have to wake up early around 5 to 6 a.m. so that I can catch up with them before their day ends, the working day ends. So that brings a bit of chaotic structure to my day, or no structure at all, I would say. So it becomes a bit challenging. So what you need to do, you need to be able to be flexible with the relaxing as well, right? So it doesn't have to be the evening time. If you're gonna spend 2 hours for relaxing, maybe you can look at your schedule and put it somewhere that it will not hurt those things. Or you can have heavy days, like I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those heavy days. But Thursday is a bit of a more relaxed day for me. So Thursday I get relaxed and then try to get something relaxed on the weekend as well. So I think again it comes to person's willingness and ability. Two things: willingness and ability to be able to structure his or her day. It becomes very easy for me to talk because I don't have two kids. I don't have a kid full time around. I don't have house chores. I don't have certain responsibilities. I mean, we work from home. We don't commute, right? Those things save us time. So I'm in a more comfortable position right now to talk about that because I have seen people struggling with commute and the kids and house things and helping your spouse and getting things done. So I have to say that planning your day is a good thing. There will be days you cannot do it, and learning to how to rest is also important so that you can let it go. And then here's the thing: many people think that resting will require a lot of financials. Not really, not really. No, having an apple and just what I do, I sometimes start cleaning the apple or cutting it like into pieces, and that gives me so much flexibility that I'm gonna watch something from YouTube, funny, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I actually watch John Oliver sometimes. I watch Louis C.K. I watch SNL, Saturday Night Live, and those are tiny dose of laughter, dose of joy, dose of relaxation while I'm having a like apple or grapes or just spoonful of peanut butter. So that's like this. So that gives me the yeah. Then I take the entire jar. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go wild now. But that also gives me the chance to relax a bit and then get back to work. And also another thing, things like this, like Sana Ross, what you're doing, Sana, sanaross.com or other podcast platforms. These are great means for relaxation. You can do ironing and put this in the background and listen to it while you're doing ironing. uh, House chores, put the headphones on, or going for a walk, right? Put the podcast on, Sana's podcast. You have so much quality content, or driving. So these tools are very helpful as well. The content that you're creating is very helpful as well.
Thanks. Actually, when I was stuck, I was like in situation when I didn't know what to do, like where I'm gonna be, where I when I grow up. But I started to go to the gym and listen to podcasts, to stories of real people who had like problems and then they overcame it and like they fine now, and it helped me to become unstuck. I don't know how to explain. It's like when you don't know what to do next in your life, you need to listen to other people's stories, and you will come up with your story. You will figure out everything gonna be much better. In you need to just start doing things. And actually, my previous guest Sandra, she told me that she made a list of things she don't want to do.
I
And
love it.
then, yeah, then she came up with stuff that, okay, I want to do this. So I recommend to watch her episode. It was so fun and great. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some. Uh, so you mentioned that you take time for self care sometimes. um, what is your time for self care, especially when you're in Texas, right? So, what do you do except like cutting your apple? I mean, something on weekends. What do you love to do, and what makes you like more energized for next week?
Very interesting question. I remember my conversation with one of my mentors. She said something smart and it stuck with me. She said, whatever you do, use your five senses. And she gave me example from coffee. So I was having this mentorship session with my mentor. She's a great, very very professional mentor, and she said, "Okay, let's do an exercise." We went to Starbucks. So we grabbed a cup of coffee. We sat down, and I wanted to drink. She said, "Okay, no, we need to do the five senses thing." I'm like, "Okay," and then she says, "Okay, hold a cup of coffee. You hold you. Let's just say you're a cup of coffee. So you were holding it." She says, "Feel the warmth of it. Feel the how hot it is, right? You feel it." And then she says, "Open the cap, smell it," and you smell your cup of coffee. And she says, "Okay, look at it. Look at how it's made. Like the coffee beans, it travels all the way. It comes from Colombia. It comes from Brazil. It comes from I don't know some what do you call it? Ethiopia, right? So these very nice Congo. These are very nice coffee beans coming all the way and then making it, and you feel it, and then you taste it. You taste take that first sip, you enjoy it, and then you're like being grateful that you know what, I'm comfortable here, I'm enjoying my cup of coffee. When you do many things in your life with that five senses, all the sensors are active, you are being present and you're enjoying it. One of the things I did recently was to teach my son how to learn to ride a bicycle, and as a father, it was a moment of so much pride and joy for me that, oh my God, I taught another human being how to ride a bike. And this is a small human being, right? And that gave me so much joy while seeing him bike around independently and turn and come back and stop and say, Daddy, I know how to bike. That is so much joy. I think spending time with kids and animals, pets, will definitely help you relax. Will definitely help you, let the negative energy go, because these things require love, care, humility. They require compassion, and when you give those things, you start feeling better as well. You start, no matter how burned out you are, no matter how de-energized or demotivated you are, once you start playing with kids, once you start playing with animals, pets, or taking care of your parents, reaching out to them, those things spark a very good return on investments in terms of the joy. They basically, in the movies we have seen someone dies, the heartbeat goes straight line. And then the doctor doesn't give up. He does this and he does that and he pushes here and pushes there. He does different versions of CPR. And then the heartbeat comes back. And they're like, oh, if can you imagine if that doctor gave up at that point when the line went straight, right? So there are many things in life that the moment we do those CPRs, like to our connecting with our parents, connecting with our kid or friends, or looking at old pictures, like things that will bring some good memories to you, joy to you. They actually put a smile on your face, and then you get going. It also depends on what you are consuming as a food, and what you are consuming as non-food in terms of your brain, right? What kind of information you're reading? Are you reading constant negative things? Are you talking to constantly negative people? Yesterday, I was at an event and I approached a table, and I noticed the table was talking about a very negative topic going on around the world, from wars to this. And I noticed that it's junk. It's like throwing a trash to the other countries' landfills, right? And I'm not going to let that trash to come into my landfill, because trash getting here will turn into trash getting out of here. But if I put good things here, only good things will come out of there. So you need to look
Yeah.
at those things as well, surroundings, the things that you do, and these definitely help. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes we overeat. I overeat, for example. Sometimes I overeat and I hate myself
Aren't we
after that.
all? I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know, but there are some people that are very disciplined, and I applaud them. I'm like, God, you are the God of, I don't know, of decision making. You're the willpower. I overeat sometimes. I will put in entire ice cream box in front of me, finish it, lick the spoon, hate my life, and then go back to my emails. I mean, yes, that's true. But then I'm like,
uh,
but that was good. It was bad good. It was good bad. But so it is what it is.
oh,
What can I say?
I think that if you don't do this every day, I mean, it would be nice to eat nice stuff. I mean, sometimes the best burger is like, you know what I mean, or barbecue, great
Yeah,
time, great food, and so on. So just make it a cheat day, and that's okay.
yeah.
So, all right,
Learning to appreciate those things, that's important, right? And
yeah,
again, I think when you become older, you start noticing the things that you don't notice at younger age. You start noticing that, you know what, these are these are given to you, and instead of complaining about the things we don't have, we need to be actually looking at the things we have, appreciating, and where we stand in life. Sometimes I think I haven't, I feel like a failure, and I do have this, what do you call this, imposter syndrome. Like I feel like this, but then I go out and I look at the team, I look at our customers, I look at my kid, I look at myself, and I'm like, okay, you know what? You should be grateful. Don't be ungrateful, because these things will can be taken from you. You can lose them just like that. Instead of that, be grateful. Quick note: I was signing up for my driving license, and the driving license had a question box. Do you want to become an organ donor? I was like, I never received that question. No one asked me in official
mm,
context, right? And I was like, and I asked the guy, I said, if I check the box today, will I go to hospital? Will you check my organs? Am I good or not? He said, no, you just check the box. If God forbid something happens to you, and if you pass away, right, then it becomes. And I thought about that. I'm like, okay, our organs can be useful so for someone else. We're thinking about that, but we are not thinking how they can be useful for us right now when we have them, right? We have the eyes, we have the skin, the hair, the nose, and the hands, and the abilities to do things. So I think as human beings, we don't have a right to continuously sit down, do nothing, complain, and expect things to happen to us. Like in a good, expect things to happen on their own. We can do those from time to time, but if you do it on a continuous basis, it becomes a chronic disease of
yeah.
laziness, and you start bringing excuses for everything.
Yeah, and actually, after 40 years old, our brain goes in decline. So we need to work on ourselves, like learn stuff, work on our memory, try even to, I don't know, clean your teeth with different hand. It will help a little bit. Learning languages, learning something new. Otherwise, our brain's gonna shrink. So,
My goodness. And now that
uh,
I'm getting closer to 40, now I'm worried about this, but
you
yeah,
just go because you know when you're building something, you're learning something every day. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. Like
yeah,
it's your job to learn stuff, and you learn how to cope with your team, how to explain things, how to explain things to your child.
yes.
And a few days ago, my child asked me, he's 6 years old, and he asked
Oh,
me to
nice.
explain how black hole works. And I'm into this stuff. I'm like a space freak. So, and I explained 20 minutes. We went to IKEA, and we talked about black holes for 20 minutes.
That's very nice.
And
That's
yeah, and the same with any anything. Yes, you have your kid, but you have, for example, your older parents. You explain things to them too, right? In different language because they're different. And you're learning something new because you are in a new country. They have some legal nuances and so on. So you're going to be fine. Just don't stop.
true.
By the way, about tech, like the big part of of this live show is tech. So you mentioned OpenAI event, and all of us, I suppose, know that they made some sort of a new app store for AI. What do you think about that? What is your thoughts, because you are in this industry, right? So can you share a little bit?
In this space. Yeah, absolutely. I watched the demo day of OpenAI. I think what they're doing is something extraordinary, right? There are many people are using this, many people are benefiting from it, and OpenAI introduced many great things. They introduced the OpenAI Turbo version, ChatGPT Turbo version. They introduced the APIs. They introduced the price decrease. They introduced the GPT, sort of your own app store where you can create your own GPT based on the needs. It could be puppy training. It could be football match analyzer. It could be, I don't know, Excel file narrator, anything. So you can build whatever you want, which gives people the tool again. Like look at YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn. These are the platforms given to people, and people create many great things. People create stories, people create posts and podcasts, and I don't know, people, technology companies give it to people. People create many better, amazing things, right? And but at the same time, it kills many opportunities for smaller startups, definitely. So I would say OpenAI, it's I'm talking to the people in the neighborhoods here. Like I have my neighbor who's an engineer. I speak with him. He says I use ChatGPT heavily at work. And then someone else, he says I use that. She says I use it. I noticed that. I am a bit concerned that we're becoming very dependent on it, heavily dependent on it. Recently, I heard someone saying great phrase that Google is a search engine. We still have to search and then find it and then filter it and then decide. OpenAI is an answer engine. We ask and it answers. That's it. And we take it and we edit a little bit and then we just. So Google is a search engine. OpenAI is an answer engine, right? So it makes us a bit lazier. And I noticed that many developers stopped using Stack Flow. They moved start into ChatGPT, getting the code base from there and then editing. And then Stack Flow and other technology companies started seeing decrease in developer communication because now they are communicating with ChatGPT, getting things from there. The features will be very interesting. The future will be very interesting. It's going to be very dynamic to analyze and see what's happening. There will always be communities left behind. There will be, we're talking about the curve bell of adoption, right? There's early adopters, there is what do you call it? Innovators, early adopters, uh, early stage users, late stage users, and then those who are forced to use, right? And I think with all these tools and moving so fast, the bell curve will just happen much faster, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's see. We at Whelp, we automate customer support using AI and machine learning, and we definitely use some components of OpenAI, but at the same time, we do not put all our eggs into one basket. We use multiple open source large language models as well to make sure that we are not just depending on one solution provider, because if tomorrow they decide to go, that's it, your business is done. So we basically put eggs into multiple baskets so that we have a backup for that as well. And we have our own chatbot builder, so that enables our customers to not only heavily rely on the ChatGPT or OpenAI, but at the same time their internal manuals, their internal FAQs, their internal knowledge bases, right? Because our chatbot comes on top of their knowledge base and feeds from it and then provides answers. And we also offer the on-premises version, which they don't depend on the cloud or they don't depend on the internet, right? So they can build a totally independent sort of a, I don't want to call it decentralized, but disconnected from OpenAI
Mhm.
APIs on their own premises and offer that solution to their customers without having huge dependency on large companies like that. Um, it's exciting. It's exciting to see. Instead of being scared, I think we should be excited about the opportunities and get to learn the essentials of it, so that we can be one step ahead, right? And but eventually, I think the technology will make the interfaces so easy to communicate. We will not need to learn it anymore. We will just need to do it, right? Like now,
Mhm.
OpenAI introduced the natural language coding. You basically tell what you want to be coded, and it will put into certain frames. By time, it will get better and better, right? And we will tell, hey, I want a quick website. Just like we can send a text message through Siri, it will be the same thing for I want a quick website that shows the travel locations charged through Square and PayPal and offer 10% discount. Can you do that template from, I don't know, themeforest.com and then get my domain? It will just put the code there. You just copy and paste, edit few things, put the APIs, good to go.
Yeah. I have funny story, by the way. I prepared an article and I asked ChatGPT to write some stats. And I see the stats. It's so great. I'm feeling something is off, and
Okay.
I'm saying like, okay, give me sources for these numbers. And now it's with Bing, so it can Google. I mean,
Yeah.
it can Bing. So and it get back and like, oh well, I couldn't find any sources for these numbers, and for these numbers I found. And I was like, why you how you came up with this? And I asked, and he's like, I don't know. I tried to look everywhere, but I couldn't find. And was like, okay, I'm not using this number and this
Yeah.
number, and I'm using only things with sources. So now, when I'm preparing something, I always ask for sources, and it's perfect because when I work, for example, on articles on neuroscience, it it can find something on PubMed, for example, or scientific papers. So it's great, but you always need to ask for sources.
Yeah. And double
Otherwise, you're
check.
gonna, yeah,
It's gonna
yeah,
hallucinate. It's gonna hallucinate, right?
yeah.
Hallucinations are, but I think they are working on it. But again, you still absolutely in Russian. There's a nice saying that "доверяй и проверяй." So trust and check, but recheck as well.
Yeah,
So, but I
yeah.
think what I would say, like to say, is that hallucination, yes, that it is there. I was asking Google Bard as well. Bard, like, give me this, and then 5 books about it, and he came up with 5 books, and then the authors and everything, but those books don't exist. Like
Oh, come on.
he was just citing something, and it's actually BBC took off that as well. Like I think CNN or BBC made a piece on that, that they did a search with Bard and they asked for the references, and there were 5 books, and none of those books existed. So it was just totally made up. So definitely, uh, technology is. I always say technology is good at certain things. Let them be at this, and then what we are good at is to take that information, double check it, fact check it, and then polish it, make it presentable, then use it for the context, right? So it's a
Yeah.
collaboration. It's a definitely collaboration.
It's like an assistant.
Yeah.
You cannot have the, oh no, like your assistant cannot know everything. So it's the same. You need to check sources, ask for sources, and click every link that it will give you.
I have to add here. They may know everything, but they may not know how you want it to be,
Yeah, yeah,
directed in that direction.
of
They most
course.
probably. I was talking to a friend yesterday who studies multiple religions, and he says he asked the ChatGPT a very interesting question. He said, "What is the beginning of morality? Where did the morality come from?"
Mm.
And then he asked ChatGPT to look at the history, and then look at the religions, and then the books, and do that. And he says, and I was like, "Okay, so were you satisfied with the answer?" And he was like, I was very much satisfied with the answer. And I said, "But did you change your mind?" He said, "No, I didn't change my mind, but I liked the answer." And I said, and I noticed that facts are not enough to change someone's mind, right?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
emotional convincing as well. You need to emotional, what do you call it, influencing as well. Facts are not enough. But I think these
Hmm.
tools are there to help us definitely
Yeah.
speed our work, speed up our work. And they always say drink responsibly when they announce advertising for alcohol. They say drink responsibly, and I think the same goes for AI and these tools, that use it responsibly. If you overdo it, you will become useless. If
Hmm.
you underdo it, you will just need more time. These tools are here to help us. It's like self-driving car. You get into the car, you're still there, and about 40 to 50% of the job is done by the car, right? But you still need to sometimes get involved and take the control of the steering wheel and be in charge. So, but here's the thing, that has been done with the airplanes for so many years now. Pilots take off, They put it on an autopilot. Let's just say you're flying from Sydney to Dubai. I don't know, let's just say 13 hours, 14 hours, right? So the pilot takes care of the takeoff. And then once you reach a certain altitude, they put it on an autopilot. That's where the chat GPT comes in. And then they take off the control when it's landing, right? I'm not underestimating anyone's job with all due respect. But what I'm saying is that people have been using such tools for quite some time, so we should be able to tame or control OpenAI or ChatGPT or similar tools in the same way we have been doing with the autopilots, right? We are in charge, they are helping us, we are not heavily depending on them, because it may disappear one day and we'll become paralyzed if we are 100% dependent. So use it moderately. That's the right word. Use it
Mm.
moderately and use it responsibly.
Yeah, there's so many movies about when people started to rely on AI too much. So
Yeah.
we know how it goes.
I'm not concerned about it. I'm not concerned about it because I think, like many people say, oh, the privacy. I'm like, I don't have anything to hide. And Australia, when they were talking about putting a chip into people, and they were like, oh, okay, we can put a chip on you, you can try. I would be okay with this. I personally would be okay. I wouldn't mind having a chip in my body to travel,
You
which
need to
will
go
be,
to China then.
I
They are like surveilling you all the way.
I'm happy with them. I mean, as long as because I love the rules. I love following the rules, and I think the rules are you can break rules on your own company. Okay, your own company break the rules, but respect the rules in the society, respect the rules in the traffic, respect the rules of how others they're doing their business. So once you become respectful across, yes, and I think we're jumping from multiple topics, Sana, and we're seeing
It's fine.
valuable. Yeah, we're seeing valuable comments from Ali and Nahid that so yeah, when it comes to these things, you gotta be totally in charge and responsible. But at the same time, it's like you're using projector and PowerPoint for your presentation. What if you lose electricity?
Oh,
Either you
yeah.
are either you are paralyzed and you say, "I'm sorry for the presentation. It's over. Please go home." Or you take the marker and the flip chart and you do a better job than your PowerPoint. So this
Yeah,
is this.
imagine that ChatGPT wrote everything for you and you like, I have no idea what to say. So
Yes, yes. But if you are prepared, if you know your content, if you know your shit,
yeah.
you grab the marker, you go to whiteboard, and you do everything yourself. I recently attended a webinar, a workshop. His name is Wade Pinder. Please take that name. WadePinder. Wade Pinder. He does an amazing job. I was at his workshop in Houston at the Canon. It's a co-working space. He did a very nice workshop on product statement vision, and he makes it available for free online. So check out his LinkedIn page. It's a great man. Yesterday he was the mentor of the year. He received an award for that, mentor of the. Um, he did a workshop recently, and it was about 10-hour workshop, and
10
he did
hour.
a 10-hour workshop. And before
Uh-huh.
that, he did about 1 hour workshop. And the only thing he used was the whiteboard and marker. But I have to say, it was such a valuable workshop. That 1 hour of marker and whiteboard was worth it. I don't know, 100 hours of university content, or what do you call it? What is that website called? I forgot the name. Udemy content.
Mhm.
So his 1 hour workshop on whiteboard was more valuable than watching, I don't know, 10 hours of Netflix episode or something. So the same thing goes for us. We need to know how to control these things, how to use these things for our own good, what do you call it, good cause,
Mhm.
and improve. If it's going to add speed to us, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And as someone said, like ChatGPT doesn't take your job, but person with ChatGPT will. So
Yeah, yeah, I've
yeah,
seen that being I've seen that quote floating around. Yeah,
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 yeah.
true.
It's actually yes, because I use different tools every day, and I'm a solo entrepreneur, so I am so much effective and efficient, and I have time for myself. And I must say that I can do like pause within my week, and then I will do a lot of stuff otherwise. So I have a lot on my plate, and I'm fine because of these tools. Otherwise, I'm gonna
Yeah,
need a team of people. But now I have a
yeah.
team of AI, so it's fine.
That's good. I think you're using the right direction. But at the
Yeah.
same time, you still got the job done before, right? You
Yeah.
somehow got the
Of
job
course.
done
Of
before.
course.
It's just the
Otherwise you
time has
like
shortened.
you cannot balance it because you don't know what you don't know. And this is
Yeah.
a problem. So it's different kind of problem. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. It was so great. Actually, you promised us to tell why you decided to grow a beard. So,
It's a horrible story. It's because of depression, I would say. I was
mm,
very depressed. And there are still days that I am depressed. It's because of depression. And here's the thing, you have to have a purpose in life. You have to have a purpose in life that will something get you out of bed. When you lose that purpose, sometimes that purpose becomes a person in our life, right? Our spouse, our loved one becomes that purpose. We wake up every day to make that person happy. Sometimes it's our work, sometimes it's our kid, sometimes it is that specific ambition that we have, and it's a driving force, driving factor, whatever it is, right? And when you have the shift of gears from a person to thing, you go through this bouncy timeline. And after losing my relationship of 4 years, I was ready to propose and build a family, and it didn't happen, unfortunately. It was very depressive times. It was very depressive times. I recently was talking to someone, and she said something smart. She said, the pain will decrease, but the wounds will never heal. There are certain wounds in our lives that the pain will decrease because we will get distracted, but the wounds, some wounds will heal, some wounds will never heal. It will just always be there, right? If you lost your loved person, if you lost your mom, if you lost your best friend, if you lost your spouse, and in my case it was the person that I love, and I lost that person, I would say. So, and then you don't have a reason anymore for just to look good, to do this, and then you start letting it go. It's like a grass on your backyard. You don't just cut the grass, so it just grows, and at some point it becomes part of you, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't mind shaving it if I have a good purpose in my life and other. But right now the entire focus is building my company for the next 4 years. We're actually writing down a strategy for 2024 to 2028. And our goal is to sell our company in 2028 for
mm.
$550 million.
Oh,
So
so
we
you
have a
have a
clear,
number.
yes, we have a very strict number. I don't know we're going to reach that or not, but at least we have it.
Yeah.
Either we're going to reach it or we're going to die trying. It's
Well,
one
don't
of
die,
them is
please. But it's actually emotionally great things to have this big, maybe scary goal. So
yeah,
you are on the right path, 100%. Thank you,
definitely.
thank you.
But I would say, if someone is going through a big trauma in their life, it's definitely useful to go out and to reach better help. Does a good job. Better help does a good job. In better help, you can actually find a therapist that you can talk to, and you can change them. I use them because when you upgrade to LinkedIn Premium, they give you 1 month free better
Mm,
help. So I use that, and talking to therapy, and then sometimes letting it go, sometimes appreciating the good times in your life. If I die today, it's a very sincere. If I die today, I will most probably regret nothing. I will say, you know what? It was a good life. I'm grateful. If I die today, yes, there are still unaccomplished tasks to do, but I lived a good life if I die today. And I think that's important, to live your
mm,
life like that. When you are suddenly done, you turn around, you say, you know what? Maybe I didn't get to do too many things, but whatever I did, I really enjoyed it, and I am grateful for this life. So we need to be able to say that as well, or do the things that will help us say that,
Yeah.
right? Do the things. If you cannot say it, then we still have time to do it. Let's just do it. Yeah, yeah. But that's the beard, and also the pricing of shaving. So
Well, you
pricing of
you you look
price of
great,
razor.
so
Yeah,
maybe
thank
this is
you.
your new style, so it's fine. It's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're very kind with your compliments. But yeah, we all go through hardships. It's okay. And here's another thing. When we go through hardships, we think that it's just us. The world is happy. The world is joyful. Everyone is
Yeah.
partying. No, I will tell you that I want everybody to hear that everybody, every single person has some stuff, some shit going on in their life that they're trying to figure out to clean up somehow. Even the 6-year-old kid, 8-year-old kid
Yeah.
has that,
Yeah.
right? Yes. I'm sometimes asking my son, I'm like, how is your life? He says, the school, there are so much homework. I'm like, look at his problems. Like the
Remember
homework is his
yourself.
problem.
Come on. I remember myself as a kid. And I know that I have so hard life. I mean, homeworks and friends. Friends is hardest part because it's like always some sort of politics and some sort of versals, and it's hard life, and but it depends on what you focused on. It's
Yeah,
always your focus, no matter how old are you. So the
yeah.
same, so you can
And
help your kid
conversation.
to refocus and like
Yeah.
look here. So
Look at the good things, right? And conversations like this are very helpful as well. And from the audience side, from our side, from your side. And I think networks and discussions like this definitely help to see that not everything is shiny, because
yeah.
these social media tools make it look so shiny. Everyone is successful, everyone is so happy, everyone is closing, everyone is raising funds, everyone is entrepreneur, everyone is CEO, everyone is co-founder. It's not as shiny as it looks, I have to
Yeah.
say. For example, starting a company, entrepreneurship is very lonely. It's very There's a lot of loneliness, and you have to deal with this. That's why I have a cat. But
Well,
so
it was
if,
unexpected. I mean,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, I actually, yeah, it gives me, responsibility, but at the same time, loneliness can be very challenging when you're
Yeah.
building something, because you're working on it. And so I have to say that you need to appreciate the people in your life as well. These people are in your life and they can listen to you. But yeah, that's it. Good things happening. Good things happening. We're healthy, right? And we have people know in our network. We have people in our network that we can reach out, we can connect, we can share. By the way, if there are listeners in your audience that they want to check out their pitch deck, if they want to have any feedback on it, if they have any presentation or business ideas, for I know that you are doing a mentorship to startups, so I can also help with that and check out a few things for them for free, complimentary, as part of your podcast as well. They can find me on LinkedIn and reach out. They can reach out through you. I'm happy to do that. Highly recommend that book, Hard Things About the Hard Things. And I highly recommend the book that I always mention, Innovation Stack by Jim McKelvey. It's a very nice book. Highly recommend it. It helps you understand how a small company was fighting against Amazon, how IKEA was fighting against the group of a lot of furniture makers, how Bank of America, back then it was called Bank of Italy, was fighting against the innovations and changes. So great book, Innovation
Thank you.
Stack. Highly recommend.
Thank you so much. You are a wonderful guest.
Oh, thank you. This is so nice.
Yeah, I really love this live interviews because this is raw emotions and I really appreciate it. And like you sharing, you not holding back as you promised. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks everyone. Have a great day and don't forget to subscribe. Okay,
Thank you.
see
Thanks
you
for having me.
next week.